You're scrolling before bed. Someone from your feed just posted from Art Basel, Miami, champagne, a G-Wagon at the valet, a Rolex catching the flash. That's what you think rich looks like. It isn't. Rich isn't a night in Miami. It's what happens on an ordinary Tuesday. Nobody photographs. The transfer nobody sees. The decision made before you're tired enough to skip it. The people who actually have money drive a 10-year-old Camry with the check engine light still on. Your phone buzzes again. Ignored. Next to it, a notebook from 3 weeks ago. Closed. You open it. Planning your week. You open the notebook. Not to a clean page. The one 3 weeks back is still there, half filled, the ink gone soft where your coffee mug sweated on it. You don't read it. You just turn past it. The apartment is quiet the way Sunday nights get quiet. Right before Monday starts pretending it's a surprise. Through the window, your Camry sits under the streetlight, the check engine light glowing faint behind the windshield like it's been waiting all week to remind you. You've been meaning to deal with that. You write Monday at the top of a fresh page. Then Tuesday. You're not making a to-do list. You're doing something closer to diffusing one. Deciding right now, while nothing is on fire, what groceries you're buying, what time you're leaving for work, whether Thursday is the day you finally call about the oil change. None of it feels like money. It feels like scheduling. That's the trick of it. The dollars are hiding inside the decisions you haven't made yet. You think about Whitney, 2 units down, dental hygienist, good job, steady hours. Whitney doesn't do this. Whitney wakes up Monday and decides Monday what to eat, whether to go to the gym, whether tonight's the night for takeout. And 9 times out of 10, undecided loses. Last Tuesday, it was a $14 DoorDash order for a burrito bowl she could have made for $3 from her own fridge, placed at 9:40 p.m. because she hadn't planned dinner and didn't have the energy to decide on something new after a 10-hour shift. You've seen the app open on her phone enough times to know it isn't really about the burrito. It's about not having decided sooner, when deciding was free. You don't say any of this to her. You just notice it, the way you notice things about other people that used to be true about you, too. 2 years ago, that was your Tuesday. You remember the overdraft text, $35 gone, just for being $12 short on a Thursday you hadn't looked at yet. You didn't feel reckless that week. You just hadn't decided anything, and undecided has a way of spending itself. Your pen moves down the page. Wednesday. Pack lunch. Gas is under half a tank, so stop on the way to work. Not after. Friday. Call about the car. You're not solving anything tonight, you're just making sure Monday. You isn't the one who has to figure it out standing in a parking lot with 15 minutes on the clock. There's a version of tonight where you don't do this. Where the notebook stays closed, the page from 3 weeks ago stays half filled, and you let the week happen to you instead. That version of you is tired by Wednesday in a specific way. Not from work, but from deciding the same 3 things over and over, every single day, like it's the first time. You know that tired. You're not going back to it on purpose. You close the notebook around 8:15. Nothing dramatic happened. No number moved. You didn't check a balance or make a transfer. You just took every decision that was going to cost you a Tuesday night burrito bowl and made it on a Sunday instead, when it was cheap and quiet and entirely yours. The oil light is still on outside. You'll deal with it Thursday, like you wrote down. For now, you set your phone to charge, and somewhere between tonight and 12 a.m. Thursday, before you're even awake to notice, something else is about to start moving on its own. Automating your paycheck. Your alarm goes off at 6:15, and before you even sit up, your phone buzzes twice on the nightstand. 2 notifications, stacked. You don't open them yet. You know what they say. By the time you're standing in the shower, it's already happened. At 12 a.m., while you were asleep, your paycheck hit your checking account and started moving without you. $200 pulled itself into a high-yield savings account, paying north of 4% right now. The kind of rate that would have sounded made up 2 years ago. $150 went into your Roth IRA, the one you opened at 24 with $50 and a lot of doubt. You're still under the income limit that lets you put in the full amount this year, $7,500 if you're under 50, and every dollar that lands there this morning is $1 January. you doesn't have to scramble to find in December. You didn't do any of it on purpose. That's the whole point. You built it once, months ago, sitting at this same kitchen table, and now it just runs. Quiet, automatic, indifferent to how you're feeling on any given Thursday. Dante, from the floor above you at the office, does it the other way. Waits until the end of the month, whatever's left over. Last week, he told you about it over coffee in the break room, half joking like it was a personality trait instead of a plan. He just leased a BMW X5 xDrive 40i, $749 a month, 36 months, gap insurance included, and he was already talking about the extended warranty package before the new car smell wore off. He asked what bank you use for your high-yield thing. You told him. He nodded, said he'd look into it. He's been saying that since March. You're not judging him for the car. You're noticing something else. That leftover never actually arrives. There's always a reason it doesn't. A birthday dinner, a tire that needed replacing, a Thursday night that turned into a bar tab nobody planned. Leftover is a myth built for people who haven't automated anything. And Dante, without meaning to, keeps proving it true every single month. You get out of the shower and check your phone for real this time. The 2 transfers sit there, already done, already boring. There's nothing to admire about it. No chart climbing, no notification worth screenshotting. Just $350 that used to be a decision, and now isn't. You used to dread payday a little, in the quiet way people do when they know the money's going to disappear before they've had time to enjoy earning it. That feeling is mostly gone now. What replaced it isn't excitement, it's something closer to relief. The specific, unglamorous relief of not having to trust yourself with a decision you already made once and don't have to make again. You get dressed. The rest of your paycheck, the part that didn't move on its own, is sitting in checking, waiting for bills, waiting for gas, waiting for whatever this week actually needs. It's smaller than it used to be, but it's honest. Every dollar left in that account is a dollar that's already been accounted for somewhere else first. You grab your keys off the counter, and on your way out the door, you catch yourself glancing at your boots, the same pair you've had since January, still holding their shape, and you think, not for the first time, that you're going to need a new pair eventually. Just not yet. Value over vanity spending. Saturday afternoon, and you're standing in the boots aisle at the outfitter's store off South Boulevard, holding your old pair up to a new one, checking the stitching. Red Wing Iron Ranger. You bought your first pair back in January for $325, and 6 months of daily wear later, the leather's gone the deep amber color that only happens from actually living in something. The soles are wearing down, finally, which is the whole reason you're back here. Not because they broke, because they earned out. You almost don't buy the same pair again. There's a rack by the register with something similar for $50. Same silhouette, glued instead of stitched, the kind of boot that photographs fine and falls apart by spring. You pick one up, turn it over, put it back. You've done this math before, even if you never wrote it down. The $50 pair, replaced twice a year, costs you more over 3 years than the $325 pair that just keeps going. Nobody explains it that way at checkout. You just feel it, standing there, the weight of one boot versus the other in your hands. You think about Autumn from the office, who posted a photo Thursday holding a Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM, the $2,150 kind, tan monogram canvas, outside the restaurant where your team did the quarterly dinner. She'd been saving for it, she said, for months. You don't think less of her for wanting it. You just noticed, watching her hold it up for the photo, that you didn't feel the pull you used to feel in moments like that. 2 years ago, you'd have gone home and opened your banking app just to torture yourself with what you couldn't afford. That night, you didn't open the app at all. It's not that you don't want nice things, it's that you've started asking a different question than you used to. Not, can I afford this? But, what is this actually going to give me? The boots give you 6 months of dry feet and a shape that fits your foot exactly, every single day. You're honest with yourself about what the bag would give you. One good photo, a compliment or two, a feeling that fades by the following Tuesday. That's not nothing. It's just not $2,150. You pay for the new boots, $325, same as before, tax included, and the cashier, a guy about your age with a name tag that says Trevor, comments on the old pair like he actually means it. Man, these held up. You tell him they're going in the donation bin, still wearable, just not yours anymore. He nods, like that means something to him too. Walking to the Camry, boots in a bag swinging against your leg, you think about how none of this ever gets said out loud anywhere. Nobody posts a photo of boots that lasted. There's no caption for, I didn't buy the thing that would have made me feel behind by March. It's a quiet kind of decision, made over and over, that never announces itself to anyone but you. You toss the bag in the passenger seat and check your phone before pulling out. There's a calendar reminder for Monday you'd almost forgotten about. Your annual review, 10 a.m. HR conference room. You've been guessing at the number for weeks. Whatever it turns out to be, you're already deciding right here in the parking lot what you're going to do with it before it even lands. Resisting lifestyle inflation. Monday, 10 a.m., the HR conference room smells like burnt coffee, and the AC is set 2 degrees, too cold, the way it always is in there. Your manager, a woman named Corinne, slides a printout across the table before she even finishes her sentence. You see the number before you hear it. $200 a month, starting next pay period. It's not life-changing. It's not supposed to feel like anything really. A small, reasonable bump for a decent year. But you feel it anyway, sitting there, the way your chest does something small and warm for a second before you catch yourself. You already know, walking back to your desk, exactly what you're going to do with it. You decided that Saturday in a parking lot before you even knew the number. Back at your desk, you open your laptop instead of your phone because your phone is where the temptation lives. Dante's Instagram is still open in a tab from lunch. He posted last week from the BMW dealership, captioned it, "Treat yourself, tag the finance manager." You don't screenshot it or comment, you just close the tab and open your banking app instead. $200. You split it before it can become anything else. 40 goes towards something real. A standing Sunday morning at Not Just Coffee on Central, the kind of small, recurring joy that doesn't need justifying. 160 goes straight into the Roth, on top of what's already moving there automatically. You don't agonize over the split. You already know that whatever amount you don't assign a job to on day 1 tends to disappear into 100 small ones by day 30. You think about what this raise would have meant 2 years ago. Back then, a $200 bump would have turned into a nicer apartment within the month. You'd have started scrolling listings that same night, telling yourself you deserved the extra bedroom. Instead, you're renewing your lease on the same 1-bedroom, off Central Avenue, $1,450 a month. Same as last year, because the landlord hasn't raised it and you haven't asked to change anything else about your life to match a number on a piece of paper. Corinne mentions, almost as an aside, that she just put an offer in on a house in Cornelius. Nothing fancy, she says, but the schools are good. You ask and she tells you, Lake Norman waterfront listings out there are running $2.9 million and up, which is not remotely what she bought, but she'd seen one on a drive last weekend and couldn't stop thinking about it. You laugh with her about it. You don't feel behind. You just notice that everyone around you seems to be pricing their life against something they saw once, in passing, that had nothing to do with them. By the end of the day, the raise has already been spent, not on anything exactly, but on a decision made in under 10 minutes that will quietly repeat itself every single month from here on without you having to make it again. Nobody in the office knows you did this. There's no form for it, no line item, no one to tell. It just happens, the way the automation happens, the way Sunday night happens, one decision at a time that nobody else can see. Driving home, the Camry's check engine light catches your eye again. You got the oil changed last Thursday as you'd planned, but the light's still there. Something electrical this time, the mechanic said. Nothing urgent. You'll deal with it. For now, you're thinking about the number in your Roth and how it's never once come from a single source and how maybe it shouldn't have to. Second income, index investing. Wednesday night, the gym on Monroe Road is half empty. Just you and a handful of regulars and the guy on the treadmill next to yours. Headphones around his neck instead of in his ears because he wants to talk. His name's Colton, works in sales somewhere downtown, and lately every conversation with him turns into the same conversation. A stock he's found, a play that's about to move. This time, it's some biotech ticker he read about on a forum at 1 a.m. Last month, it was GameStop again, some second or third wave of it. He was up $1,100 on a Tuesday. By Friday, he was down almost 2,000, and he told you about it like it was weather, like it just happens to a person. You nod along. You don't say much. You're thinking about the email still sitting in your inbox from a woman named Bianca, an editor at a small regional magazine, who'd found your name through a friend of a friend and wanted to know if you did freelance copy editing on the side. You'd said yes without really deciding to. One piece, $180 due in 2 weeks. It's not a plan. It's not even really a second job. It's just a second wire into the same account, something that exists independent of whether your main job has a good year or a bad one. You think about what Colton's account looks like compared to what yours does. His moves. Yours doesn't mostly, and that used to bother you. Watching balances on finance forums triple in a month while your 401k crawled up 0.5% at a time. This year, the number you can put into that 401k climbed to $24,500, and every pay period a slice of your check goes in before you ever see it. Landing in the same plain S&P 500 index fund it's landed in for 2 years. No ticker symbol worth bragging about. No single stock you could point to and say, that's the one that made it. Just 500 companies, held together, doing what they've done for 100 years, which is mostly go up over long enough time. Colton asks if you're in anything good right now. You tell him the truth. Index fund, freelance thing on the side, nothing exciting. He looks a little disappointed on your behalf, like you're missing something. You used to feel that same disappointment about yourself, watching other people's screenshots, wondering if boring was just another word for behind. You don't feel that anymore. Somewhere in the last year, it flipped. The boring stopped feeling like a lack of something and started feeling like the actual plan working exactly as intended. Colton's portfolio is a roller coaster with a 2-week memory. Yours is a 2-page spreadsheet that barely changes month to month and never needs explaining to anyone, least of all yourself. You finish your set, towel off, and check your phone in the parking lot. Bianca's replied, "Second assignment already. $220 this time." You say yes to that one too, faster than the first. It's not going to replace your job. It was never supposed to. It's just one more thread, alongside the automation, alongside the raise you split in half, all of it quietly pulling the same direction without asking your permission every time. Driving home past the bank towers lit up along the skyline. You think about the numbers sitting in your savings account now. Higher than it's ever been. High enough that a word you haven't let yourself think in a while starts sounding less like a fantasy and more like a Tuesday afternoon phone call you could actually make. Buying long, holding steady. The house is on Reagan Drive, East Charlotte, a 3-bed brick ranch built in the 60s with a carport instead of a garage and a magnolia tree taking up half the backyard. Listed at $290,000. You've walked through it twice now, and both times you found yourself standing a little too long in the kitchen, running your hand along a countertop that isn't yours yet, doing math in your head that you already did on paper the night before. Your agent, a woman named Delphine who's been doing this for 11 years and doesn't waste words, walks you through the numbers one more time at the kitchen table that comes with the house. 30-year, fixed, rate locked at 6.5%, 20% down from the account that's been quietly filling itself for 3 years without you having to think about it much on any given day. The monthly payment lands somewhere that makes your stomach drop a little when you say it out loud, even though you already knew the figure. That night, you don't sleep well. You lie there running the payment against your paycheck, against the automation, against every version of a bad month you can imagine. The car finally dying for real this time, a slow season at the magazine, something breaking in a house that's now yours to fix instead of a landlord's. Somewhere around 2 a.m. you think about backing out. It would be so easy. Nobody would blame you. Renting is calmer, and calm has its own kind of value you've never let yourself admit out loud. You sign anyway. 3 weeks later, on a Tuesday, in an office with fluorescent lights and a stack of paper taller than you expected, Delphine hands you the keys afterward like it's no big deal, because to her, it isn't. She's done this hundreds of times. To you, it's the biggest number you've ever put your name next to. 2 months in, the market dips. Nothing catastrophic, just one of those stretches where every finance account you follow starts posting the same red arrows, the same warnings. Your 401k balance drops enough that you notice it before you mean to, opening the app out of habit and immediately wishing you hadn't. Colton texts you a screenshot of his own account, down worse than yours, with 3 exclamation points and no further explanation needed. You don't sell anything. You don't even consider it, not really. It crosses your mind for maybe 4 seconds before it's gone. You think instead about Delphine mentioning offhand that some of her clients bought their first rental property during a stretch just like this one, back in 2009, picking up places nobody else wanted while everyone around them was busy panicking. You're not doing anything that dramatic. You're just not doing anything at all, which turns out to be its own kind of decision, the hardest one so far, made by doing nothing over and over until the doing nothing becomes the whole plan. A month later, the numbers start climbing back, the way they mostly do, the way they have every other time in the 100 years before this one. You don't check obsessively anymore. You check on Sundays, same time as the notebook, same table, and most weeks, there isn't much to say about it. The house creaks in ways the apartment never did. The magnolia tree drops leaves across the whole yard every few days, and you're the one who has to deal with it now, which is somehow satisfying in a way you didn't expect. You're still driving the Camry. The check engine light finally went off on its own, which either means it fixed itself or means something else entirely. And either way, you haven't gotten around to asking. You sit on the back steps one evening, keys to your own front door, still a little unfamiliar in your pocket, and you realize you haven't thought about anyone else's car, or watch, or vacation photos in longer than you can remember. No one is watching, and that's the whole point. You sit on the back steps a while longer. Nobody drives by to see the house, the keys, the magnolia dropping leaves you'll rake tomorrow. Nobody clocks the Camry still parked in the carport. That's what nobody tells you about getting here. How quiet it is. There's no finish line, no photo, no number that finally makes it feel real all at once. Just a Sunday notebook, a transfer you didn't have to think about, a raise you split before you could spend it. Small, unwitnessed, repeated until they weren't decisions anymore. They were just you. Tomorrow the light might come back on in the dash. The market might dip again. You'll still open the notebook. You'll still not sell. Somewhere tonight, someone's parked outside a restaurant, engine running, waiting to be seen. You're not sure anymore which one of you is richer,